Quick review of the CVLIFE EagleFeather 4-16 by 44 rifle scope. First things first, what's in the box? Everybody wants to know. I've already unboxed this, so I can make it a little faster. I don't have to unwrap stuff. You have the scope. Comes equipped with lens covers. You have the rings. These are 30 millimeter tube rings, 1.5 inches in height. You have a sunshade. You have the instruction manual. A couple of Allen keys that they provide, and a lens cleaning cloth, and a couple of CR2032 batteries. Okay. This stuff is kind of okay in quality. It'll get the job done for mounting what you need to mount on the scope. Batteries are probably mediocre quality. The owner's manual, instruction manual, it leaves a lot to be desired, as you would expect from a product such as this in this price range. What price range is that? Currently, this is October 2025, and it is, I believe, $85 on Amazon. So it gives you there are some helpful things in here if you don't know anything about rifle scopes. Put it that way. Now, other items. The sunshade I did screw on already. It works like any other sunshade. Decent quality, no problem with that. These rings, in my opinion, are maybe a little better than hot garbage. They have these little tape material that have glue on them that I guess they think helps connect to the scope somehow. But if you can kind of, I don't know if you can see with the light or not, but on the bottom and the top, there's 2 pieces of tape, and here, it's a fabric, and this one came out fairly easily. To me, that says they're not machined. They're not really made well. They're not going to be exact. These go in the trash for me. Okay, so the pop-up lens covers are actually pretty nice. There are $2,000 scopes from some manufacturers like Night Force that have not as good quality lens covers, I think. It's just pretty funny. $85 scope and you get decent lens covers. Okay, features of the scope. It is a second focal plane, and it's 4-16 by 44. The zoom control is fairly soft out of the gate. A lot of higher end scopes and just scopes in general will have a hard to maneuver dial there, and this one is fairly easy. I don't think it's so easy that it's going to come loose or anything with recoil. I think that it's in a good shape. You have on the left side of the scope, you have a parallax adjustment that goes all the way down to 10 yards and all the way up to 400, 800, and infinity, with several increments in between. Anybody that knows anything about parallax knows that you shouldn't really look at those numbers anyway. You should count on your eye to get it where it needs to be. Those numbers are just kind of for quick reference, and I'm thinking on a budget scope like this, they probably are next to meaningless. You also have your illumination on the left side. You have 5 levels of red and 5 levels of green. I have not figured out or have not tested it, so I can't say I figured out whether or not it's of good quality or not. I would imagine it works and works decently. You have open turrets for elevation and windage, and these are lockable. If you can hear or not, let's see. You got to pull it up, and then you can adjust the turret. They are, you can feel the clicks and hear them. The issue comes in for me with the locking mechanism. When you get to a spot, you try to push it down and it doesn't go right down. You have to kind of jiggle it a little bit to get it to catch, to lock, to go down. Is that the end of the world? Probably not. And I think that's things like that are to be expected for an $85 scope. We're in a time now where you can get a lot of optic for your money. These, a scope of this quality by any brand 10 or 15 years ago, there's no way you could touch it for under $100. Probably not under $500. It's amazing what they're doing with the scopes these days. That being said, the lens quality, I think is very good for this price point. You're not going to put it next to your Zeiss and have any competition there, but for the money you're spending on it, you're getting decent lens quality. I can say I'd be happy with it for sure for $85. I find it interesting that the turrets have markings on them that say 1/4 inch at 100 yards, which equates pretty closely to 1/4 MOA, 1/4 minute of angle at 100 yards. So if you're saying, loosely that this is a MOA turrets, but I find it interesting that the reticle is done in mil dot. So I don't know who designed it, why they designed it like that. The reticle doesn't have any numbers on it. It's just dots. I think there's 4 dots on each quadrant, up, down, left, right. There's 3 or 4 dots on each one. I'm not sure what those values are, but they're not going to equate to your dials. So I'm not sure why they did it like that. But I also am going to be interested to see how this thing tracks at all, if it does, and whether or not those values in the reticle can be used for anything realistically or not. I'm kind of hoping that I can get the scope zeroed and use Kentucky windage. I'm not going to put this on a 300 Win Mag that I'm going to take elk hunting. No, of course not. This scope, I believe, is suitable for airsoft and maybe rimfire, and not competition rimfire, just plinking, that kind of thing. And at that, I think that's as far as I want to stretch it. And that's what my intention for the scope is going to be. Definitely wouldn't want to put it on anything with a bunch of recoil, and definitely not something that I would want to be using to trust, on some hunt that's important to me. I wouldn't want to, miss an animal because the scope got bumped and the reticle came loose or something like that. So I think for where it is, what it is, it's about probably the cheapest option you can get for this with a side focus parallax. I think there's some out there that have the old kind that on the objective lens that screws. That might be a little bit cheaper, but this is one of the few at this price point that you can get with the side parallax. Okay, that being said, if I didn't say so already, this is not a paid review. I'm doing this just because I want to help people that are looking, that are in the market, that have the same questions that I do. And, coming from somebody like myself that's an experienced shooter and hunter for the better part of my life, hopefully that knowledge and my experience with rifles and scopes can help somebody that maybe doesn't have that experience or has these questions, and hopefully I've answered some of those for you. So that is about it that I can say about this scope. I will say, if you have any questions or any feedback of any kind, feel free to leave it in the comments. Just be nice. I'm kind of new at this stuff, but I'm hoping that I can help some people out, and that's really all I'm trying to do. So from me to you, I bid you good day.